And we're going live. Here we are. And watching what's going on. How's everybody doing out there today? This evening. This evening in YouTube land. Just wanted to come on, give everybody a little update and see what's been happening. I haven't been on in a while. Took some time off over the Labor Day weekend and an extra week of that. Didn't put out any videos. And kind of been slow. But, let's see. Slow mode is on. Okay. We got slow mode on. How many viewers do we got? Anybody out there? Hit the like button and say a few syllables. Because I can't really tell. I got this set for low latency. I don't know about that. All right. Anyway, let's get started. We're going to talk a little bit today, this evening. I keep calling it day. I don't know why. It's dark out. I had as you know, I spend most of my hours on YouTube. I don't watch much television, but I do watch YouTube. And over the last few weeks, I have been seeing a lot of different interviews with Mark Farner. And on every interview, naturally, he's always asked about Grand Funk getting back together again. And he's said he's very open to the suggestion. Hi, Fire Soul Rocker. How you doing? Anyway, I started watching and listening to what he had to say. And, you know, the guy seems, he is totally ready to bury the hatchet. I mean, as far as burying it with Don and Mel, that's not, to me, that's not really the big issue, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure he can do it with them because he buried the hatchet with Terry Knight, and if anybody screwed him, it was Terry Knight. I'm doing good, Fire Soul Rocker. Doing real good tonight. That's for sure. So I started wondering what the issue is. I know Mark, he plays out a little bit. And Don and Mel, naturally, they have the Grand Funk name and they're out there touring under Grand Funk. But, without Mark Farner, they're not really Grand Funk. I'm sorry. And a lot of people don't like that, and some people do. But Mark wants to get it back together, and he actually said, and it's not the way I feel, but I know a lot of people feel that way, but like Mark said, he said we're not getting any younger, and he said we owe it to these fans. And I guess in a way, maybe he could feel that way. I know I spent a lot of money on the records and 8-track tapes during the early years, and I even bought some of their stuff on CD. So I spent money on them. Lots of people paid to listen to them, and it'd be nice to see the three of them get back together, of course. And it wouldn't be so bad if the three of them got back together and even brought Craig Frost back in, the keyboard player. But if it'll ever happen, it'll be up to Don and Mel, because them boys are they're playing a lot. And if there's a hold up on it, I think it would be because they play so much. Now, the tours they're doing, I mean, I've looked at them and I'm sitting there going, holy cow, who's booking these guys? They're all over the place, and they're playing a lot of dates. But it seems to me that they could get together and put together a 20 or 30 date show with Mark and go out and really tour his Grand Funk. Although I don't know, Mark will do it. He said he would. He said, I'll bury the hatchet. I'm done. He said, life's too short. And he's not said that just once or twice. I've seen him say it 5 or 6 times over the last 6 months. But Don and Mel, let me look over here. I know I got them somewhere here. I don't know how many dates they've done this year, but there's quite a few on there. And I don't know how they're doing some of these unless they're flying or they really have a very comfortable bus, because like I'm looking now, they're in, they was just in Spencer, Iowa. And then they go to Wilmington, North Carolina. Then they go to the West Coast and do California on the 30th and the 1st. Then they're off for 2 weeks. And then they do the 21st, the 14th in Salem, Oregon. So they're still there. Then they're off another week, and then they go to Nevada. Then they're off a month, and they go to Michigan. They're in Michigan. Off another week. They're real sporadic, and they're all over the place. Indiana to New York to Mississippi to Oklahoma. And from Oklahoma out to L.A. and then Kansas. I imagine they're flying, I would guess. I would presume there'd be a lot of bus riding. And I don't know how their equipment's getting there, and I don't know how much money they're making. But I do know that if it was Mark, Don, and Mel, they'd be making a whole lot more money than they are now. I assure you of that. Well, hi, Ted Gibson. How you been, man? Sorry, I'm just looking over that away. I'm sitting here rattling on about Grand Funk, as I always do. I'd still like to see them boys get back together for the time comes that they can't. There's not too many of the bands left that can get together with the original members. And they could sure do it with Mark, Don, and Mel. And Craig Frost. Up in New Jersey, huh? Fire Soul Rocker? Did Mark have Indian kin? Well, Mark said he's part Cherokee Indian, if that's what you're talking about. He said that quite a few times. Excuse me. So I don't know. Hi, John Allen. Oh, yeah, things happened in Detroit. There's some great music up in Detroit. All the rock and roll, all the Motown was great up there. Hi, JWF99. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, Ted Gibson. He's part Indian. He said, I think it's Cherokee, he said, from his mom's side. I believe they was from, I can't remember. I think they was from North Carolina or something, but don't hold me to it. I'm just talking off the top of my head. Yeah, Detroit's a happening place for music. That was one of the first places that Kiss said they were headliners. That was the first city that they could headline and sell out concerts in. You know what's funny too? That a lot of people, they, I kind of find people they fight and argue it over the people from Arizona and the people from Michigan. But Alice Cooper was born and raised in Michigan. I'm not sure the exact city, but I had people come on, and they were talking about it on some video, and they was arguing. Said he's from Arizona. I don't think he left Arizona. I think he was there till he went, maybe started high school. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Well, yeah, John, Grand Funk did get ripped off by Terry Knight. There's no doubt about that. And don't take it to heart, but most all groups back then got ripped off by their agents. But where Terry Knight, he really ripped off Mark Farner more, I think, than he ripped off the group. You know, he was taking 50% of the group, which a lot of managers and agents did at the time. But he also took 50%, I believe. I know it was 50%, maybe a little more, of Mark Farner's publishing. And that was really kind of low. And from what Mark Farner said, I just seen an interview with him. Now, Terry Knight passed away. I'm not sure when. But Mark called him and talked to him about a year before he died. And I guess Mark just wanted... Mark's really, from everything I've seen, he really just wants to get everything straight in his life and do things right. And he called Terry Knight and he talked to him and he said, you know, I told him, you know, that I bury the hatchet, water under the bridge. And he said, I left an opening for Terry to at least say, I'm sorry, or, yeah, well, you know, that's business. Say something. He said Terry Knight never said a word. He just accepted what he did. There was some they put names. You know, I mean, Elvis Presley's name was put on songs, and he never wrote a song in his life. But Terry Knight took half of the publishing of all Grand Funk songs. And you have to understand, he took half of what the band made. So the band, after they split the money, they had to split theirs three-way. Terry Knight pocketed it. You know, he was only one person. And Terry, take what it takes to run the band and everything. That's a different deal. Look at it this way: the Colonel took 50%, and Elvis took 50%, and that's a good deal. I mean, Brian Epstein, he took 25% from the Beatles. The Beatles got 75%, but they had to split that between four people. So it just depends on what they do. But taking his royalties, his publishing rights from the songs that they wrote, and basically Mark wrote probably, 90% of the songs? That's pretty low. And he made a lot, because that's where the money's at, is in the publishing. Hi, Steve McCombs. How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, well, you know, JW or JWF, the Midwest is a great place for rock and roll. You know, I lived there for a long, long time. I was, you know, up from around the St. Louis area, and it was a great place to grow up listening to music and everything. In St. Louis, like I said, it was the same way. We had lots of concerts there, and all the big names came through back in the 70s. And even the early 60s, The Who was there, Led Zeppelin, Grand Funk, they all came through. And then in the 70s, we had the super jams going on. And REO, Speedwagon was there almost every year or every other year, Ted Nugent. Yeah, there's some good blues there too. Buds. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, we had St. Louis had great venues for rock and roll music. There's just no doubt about it. And the blues was good there. We had some places, it wasn't as good as it was like up in Chicago. There's no way. But there was still a lot of blues. And like you said, John Allen, in the 50s and 60s, it was a lot better than it was, let's say, in the 70s and 80s. They really started leaning more toward the rock and roll and things like that. And like I said, I was born in the 50s, so I didn't get into the blues all that much. What got me into the blues was Johnny Winter and stuff like that, and guys like that. Some ZZ Top blues. Before I really got into the listening to the black blues, like Muddy Waters and guys like that. B.B. King. Oh, time for a vape. What did I miss now? Let me go back through some of these and read them. Say something nice about me. What can I say nice about you, Steve McCombs? Mark, Don, and Mel, the song Inside Looking Out. Oh, that's a great song. Yeah, I dig that one. Yeah, John Allen, YouTube's got great music. I spend most of my time on YouTube listening to music. That's the way I keep I'll keep my headphones on if I'm working or something at the computer, and I'll go find me a playlist, somebody's already set up. That and you can find any music you want now is on YouTube, and they're still getting the ones that still own the publishing to it. They're still getting money off of it, because they do have their commercials and things in it, and that's fine and dandy. I don't mind that. I like to have it right at my fingertips. It's really nice to be want to hear a song and just type it in and YouTube, hit the button, there it is, and I can listen to it, and I can find the live version, the studio version. No, I never went down to Gaslight Square, Steve. The only time I started going down there on the landing and stuff was Mississippi Nights and Kennedy's and places like that. I heard some concerts down there. I seen Meatloaf down there at Mississippi Nights, and who else? But the blues. There's still good blues in St. Louis. There was during the 70s and 80s, but it was a lot more prominent in the 50s and 60s. That's for sure. Ah, yes. Now to quencheth my thirst. Let me read through a few more. I don't think I missed anything. If I miss something, if you say something and I don't answer it, just put it up again. I have to read through them. Sometimes they flip through real fast. Ted Gibson, yeah, you listened to Dust, yeah. That was a cool album, man. I used to love that thing. I played the grooves out of mine. I played the grooves out. They was 3-piece. Richie Wise, who was the producer on the first 2 Kiss albums, was a guitar player. He played left-handed. And the drummer, I can't remember what exactly happened to him. His name was Mark Bell. And the bass player was a guy named Kenny Aronson. And Dust, they just did, I think they was just studio guys trying to do something. They put that album together. I don't even know if they had a second album or not. But Kenny Aronson, the bass player, I didn't know it at the time, but I had went to a concert in St. Louis in I don't know, 78, 79, somewhere like that. And it was a great show. It was Rick Derringer, Sammy Hagar, and Boston. And I have to look now. My memory is shot. I'm old. But Kenny Aronson was playing bass, and I believe he was playing bass for Sammy Hagar that night. So he was the same guy that played for Dust, played with Sammy Hagar. But don't hold me to it. It could have been Rick Derringer. I'm not sure. But that was a very good show. That was some rock and roll, because Sammy had just come out, and started doing Red and all them other cool songs, and he did a bunch of old Montrose. He did Bad Motor Scooter and Rock the Nation. He did all kinds of stuff. He was really good. They was all good. It was a great show. Yeah, YouTube has some good music. I don't know if that. Let me look here. Yeah, you can look him up. Kenny Aronson. His last name spelled Aaronson. I'm trying to see. It should tell me here. Just give me just a second. Yeah, I don't even see it says anything on here about Dust. I know he played for Dust, though. I know that for a pot. It don't say anything about it. But it says he has recorded or it was Sammy Hagar. He has recorded or performed with several notable artists. He's been with Bob Dylan, Rick Derringer. Well, maybe he did. Billy Idol, Joan Jett, Foghat, Sammy Hagar, Billy Squier, the New York Dolls, Hall & Oates. And since 2015, he's the bass player for the Yardbirds now. You played for Buddy Guy? Cool. What year was that? Try it again. Hey, that's cool. Even just a jam. Even just a jam, man. Hey, Tommy Carmichael, thanks. Appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed them. Yeah, I was always kind of fond of old Ace. I, he, he was just a straight up rock and roll guitar player, nothing fancy. But when I saw him, he just he was just so good, and he just a Les Paul plugged into a Marshall, and he just grinded, man. He was just really something to see. That was a cool show. I like me some Ace. I like to hear him again. If he ever gets down this way, I'm gonna go and see him. I don't usually go and see like I was talking earlier about the Grand Funk deal. Without Mark Farner, I wouldn't go and see him. I really wouldn't. And since I grew up, I seen the original Kiss 4 times. I wouldn't go see Kiss now, and that's nothing, not a knock on Tommy Thayer or Eric Singer. It's just if I would actually go and pay good money and go see Kiss if it was the original four. I don't care how old they are. I don't care if they had a stage show. I don't care. you know, Paul, he can't hardly sing anymore, and Peter's 76 years old. I'm sure he can't pound the drums, but just to see them guys get up on stage again together. Considering I seen them in 1974, they'd only been out touring, since the first of the year, and I seen them in the end of March. That their first album had only been out a month. They was just, they were just punk kids up there and rocking and rolling. It'd be really cool to see the original four, but I don't really care to go see the Big Kiss show. Not anymore. I mean, I understand what they're doing, and I don't blame them for doing it. I have nothing against them whatsoever. Nothing at all. Macon, Georgia, huh? That's not too far from me. Ace is cool, man. He was out touring last year, wasn't it, with Alice Cooper? But I just like like the old groups. There's not many of them left, and the one here's another one that I really wish would get back together, but I know it's not going to happen. Would be Creedence Clearwater, because the original three could get back together, and even though Tommy Fogerty's dead, you know, John and Stu and Doug, they actually went out and played three pieces the last year they were together, and promoted the album after Tommy had quit. And they could play three pieces. I'd love to hear them three guys back together again, but that isn't going to happen. I just don't see it. You know, I just don't see that one happening at all. I think Grand Funk has a shot at it, and I think they would sound really good. Yeah, Tommy, I don't have nothing against Tommy Thayer does a good job, and Eric Singer. I mean, the band sounds good. I would just, even though there's no way Peter can hardly keep up now on the drums. I've seen him play. He does still play good. There's nothing wrong with that. He's not going to pound like he did back in the 70s, but I don't really care. Paul Stanley can't hit the notes he could hit back in the 70s. And I'd be just as happy even seeing him without makeup. I think that'd be a cool deal, because I don't think, besides doing the unplugged deals for MTV, I don't think Kiss has ever got on stage, the original four members, and played a show without makeup. I may be wrong, but I don't think they ever have. Oh man, Cream, yeah. you're talking there. You know, John Allen, what impressed me, um, when Cream, when they were inducted into the Hall of Fame, I believe I believe this was what I'm thinking of, and let me look real quick. Um, they they was inducted into the Hall of Fame. I know that's what it was, and um, Jack Ginger and Eric got together. Um, and like I said, this was I seen this on YouTube. Yeah, it was 1993. I didn't get the date. They hadn't played a note together in I forget what they said. You know how many years? 25 years, whatever. And they came in for that Hall of Fame, and them three guys got together and went over "Sunshine of Your Love" and just practiced it a little, do the best they could, and they did that on the rock and roll induction. And my God, them guys, they still grooved. They sounded so good. Um, if you get a chance, let me see if I can send that. Hang on a minute. I don't want to. I got to be careful this don't key in and come over my speakers. I'm gonna put. Let me see if I can send this link here in the chat. But if you guys haven't seen this, check this out. I just sent it in chat. It should show up. This is in 1993, and these guys just, man, for being apart, not playing and everything, like not playing together, and just getting together after over 20 years and going over a song. Just listen to that groove. Ginger Baker is just amazing. I mean, he was always impressive to me. Hi, CG. You bet. Grand Funk was. They were the ultimate rock band in the 70s. In the early 60s, 69, 70, 71. They was probably one of the just the ultimate live bands, and it's a shame I never got to see them live. Steve McCombs, are you here? You got to see them live. I know you did. Well, I'll tell you what, John Allen, always saying somebody's the best and this, that, and the other. It's a personal preference, but you have to agree. Ginger Baker, he had such a groove to him. I mean, yeah, he is one of the best. There's no doubt in my mind. He didn't get a lot of the credit he should have. There's a lot of other people. John Bonham got a lot. And he was. Them guys was all good drummers. But Ginger was the best. I never got to see him play either. I wish I had him, though. I would have loved to have seen him live. The thing is, I don't know if I'd appreciate back then, in the 70s, I don't know if I'd appreciated it as much as I would have now. It took me a long time. A lot of people asked me about that Kiss concert that I seen in 74. And, thinking back on it, I didn't appreciate it back then like I do now, that I actually did get to see them that early in their career. I got to see a couple of country bands early in their career. I got to see the group Alabama. They came through and played down on the river, and I don't mean the Mississippi. It was over on a river called the Merrimack River. It was a river float. And they came in a van and a trailer. I mean, this was very early. They were just coming out with their first album. And to be honest, the music didn't sound really all that good to me. But what did sound good was their harmony. Them guys could really sing some harmony. Let me see, I just want that to that. Oh yeah, no, they was different styles. That 2005 show. Let me see, where's that? Where's it? I'll put that down and watch it. Is that on YouTube, John Allen, that 40th anniversary? Or was it Albert Hall? Let me see. Oh yeah, I know how to do this. Yeah, I got it. I got some of it to come up. It's just coming up song at a time though. I don't know if the wait a minute. No, that's her farewell concert in '68. Yeah, but I see a lot of the songs from that 2005 show. Yeah, there's a lot of songs. Badge, Sunshine of Your Love, Crossroad, White Room. Yeah, all the cool ones are on there. I'll keep them. I got them on here. I'll watch them. Oh yeah, Ted Gibson. Yeah, the concerts back then was pretty wild. They was fun. I mean, you look forward to them. As I said, that where I come from, that's all we had. Was the concerts. I mean, there was no MTV at that time, and you could catch like Don Kirshner's rock concert or Midnight Special. But them was on, I believe, late Friday night and Saturday night. Well, we was always out and partying and sometimes playing music and doing this, that, and the other on Friday and Saturday. So the only way we really got to see the bands was to go to concerts. So, and we made a party of it, by golly. We had tailgate parties for the concerts. Tailgate partying for the concerts. I'm watching some of this video from that Cream concert in 2005. I don't have the volume up. I'm scared it'll bleed over or something and come into my live stream. And if it does, then YouTube will frown on me if I do that. I guess if it was my own videos, I guess it'd be okay. Ted Gibson, where are you from? I forgot. Was you? I'm trying to see. I try to remember. People. I see your names. A lot of these come in a lot, and on the comment on the videos. Do I play a guitar? I play a little bit. Not near as much as I used to. I played more piano and bass than I did guitar. I Texas, that's it. From the great state of Texas. Yeah, I play. I got a couple of three acoustics around here, and I still get up and play every once in a while. Oh yeah, Cleveland was right in the middle of that between that trip north, like you said, John, between New York and Chicago. So you guys probably picked up a lot. Well, I've been through Cleveland. I've never spent any time there. I went through Cleveland 3 or 4 times, but I never stopped there. I did spend the night. I guess is Erie, Pennsylvania. That's close to Cleveland, and I spent a couple nights in Erie, Pennsylvania. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I'd like to. Um, there's a lot of things I wish I'd have done before I moved away from St. Louis. It was up in the Midwest. Um, Before I got too far away, like I said, I'm down in Florida now. I've been here about going on 6 years, and it's a long trip. I'd almost have to fly now. I don't drive as much as I used to. I got a brother in Texas, Ted. He's in Corpus Christi, and my son's actually got a his fifth wheels down in Galveston. I get over to Texas every once in a while. Back in the early 2000s, I uh, I I played some out in Texas. I don't know if you're familiar with oh, I know you know where El Paso is and Monahans. Um, there was another little town north of Monahans, and then up into Roswell. Yeah, John, I'd like to. I'd really like to go see the Hall of Fame. Um, See all the cool guitars and stuff they got there. Yeah, Tommy James and the Shondells. Of course, the Beatles. I guess you guys know I read a lot. That's why I get a lot of the stuff from my documentaries is through books and everything. And if you guys ever get a chance, if you like to read or you want to learn anything about the Beatles' early years, there's a guy named Mark Lewison, and he's wrote a book. I got the audio book of it, and it's all basically it has a lot to do with the Beatles from the time they met to right after they started recording and did their first tour. It just covers them areas, and this audio book's 36 hours long. This book is huge, and it really if you want to get some Beatles stuff, some information on them, check that one out. You can look him up. Let me see if I can find something here. I don't know how interested you guys are, if any of yous read or anything. Um, yeah, he's considered a Beatles historian. Now, his book's not on here, but if you want, check his channel out. I mean, you have to buy the book or whatever, but there's a lot. He does a lot of interviews. You can get interviews, and if you really dig it right there, it's coming up now. Yeah, Tommy James and the Shondells. I don't know. I don't know if the mob was behind them or not. They might have been. I mean, they was behind a lot of people. Um, I know like Neil Bogarts that started Casablanca Records, that Kiss and who Donna Summers was on. He came from what was it, Kama Sutra? And I can't think of the cat's name, but he was involved with Sonny Franzese, and they had a lot to do, had their fingers in everything, and all the earlier guys, like Sinatra and all of them, they was all kind of mob controlled. Roulette Records, yeah. hmm Maybe that's who I'm thinking of. Um, I can't think of the guy's name. Now I'm sitting here doing this. Um, yeah, I sit here and go through this stuff. Michael Franzese, he's been doing a lot of videos, and he did some on his dad, and yeah, I found the video. Um, yeah, it was Kama Sutra, the Buddha Records. That's it. Yeah, Buddha Records. They was involved with the mob, and that's where Neil Bogarts came from, and then he left there and started Casablanca, and he was getting into trouble when he had Kiss because they wasn't really making a lot of money before Live came out, and then he had Donna Summers, and then later on, Neil Bogarts also had Joan Jett. Morris Levy. That's it. Morris Levy. Yeah, there's a lot of the mob involved in some of that in music. I mean, the mob had their hand in everything in New York. What was CG? What was Tommy James's first hit? I guess I could look it up here, but I figured I'd just ask you. You seem to know enough about him. I was just wondering, was their first hit on Roulette, or did they get that on a different label and then switch over? Hanky Panky. Okay. Was that? Do you know if that was on Roulette Records, or was that on a different label? And then um, they switched to Roulette. Yeah, a lot of it moved out to the West Coast, John. The West Coast was where it was happening in the 60s. But back in the 60s, it was easier for them to get a record deal than it is now. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, that's what I figured. They started on a smaller label, and then Roulette took over them. Then they started putting out a lot of hits. It was on Snap. Never heard of that. No, I know. I was reading a book the other day. Um, it was a book about the Beach Boys. It's an older book, and it's full of a lot of bullshit, to be honest. But there's some good stuff in it. And I hate to see you go, JWF. Thanks for stopping by, man. Come in, check out some of my videos. I got a couple new ones up this week, believe it or not. Take care. Um, and it was talking about Brian Wilson and how they got in with Capitol Records. And this was in '63 or something. They just went up there and did some demos with I can't think of their name. The Morgans, Height Morgan. And they took them to Capitol Records. He just got them in the building. And Nick Vinay, who's, produced and found a lot of talent for Capitol in the 70s. This was in the 60s. He signed them up, just like that. Nowadays, you can't walk into a major label like that and get in. Neil Diamond, that's a name. Yep. Neil Diamond. Mm-hmm. I was trying to think. I've never seen Neil Diamond either. He came through St. Louis a few times. You know what I was going to do one time? I don't know if it'd be any good or not. I was going to actually start making a couple videos once in a while and putting them out and just put some of the YouTube pages that I go to and put them on there, the different music, some of the people I listen to that's, kind of off the wall that I really like. And I was going to leave it so people could get in the comments and leave me links of places and songs and stuff that they like, kind of like being able to pass it around so you can find different YouTube channels and things like that. That's kind of why I like the open chat here, because a lot of you guys come in, you'll tell me this thing or that thing, and I got my other screen here, and I'll just get something going and I'll bookmark it, and then I'll go back later on and get to watch it. Yeah, and I bet you when Levy told them to back off, they did too. Oh, yeah, there was a lot of stars up in Detroit. Detroit pumped out a lot of great musicians. Sam Cooke. Um, I used to have an album. It was Sam Cooke live at the Copacabana. Man, that was good. That he had a there was like an orchestra behind him and everything, and he just kicked ass. Yeah, I was big into Sam Cooke. Yeah, that Copa album was really good. I don't have it no more. I think I had that on cassette tape too at one time, but I lost that. I wonder if it's still. I wonder if it's on YouTube. It might be. That I just looked it up. That live at the Copacabana, that Sam Cooke, it's on YouTube. The album is. Somebody's burned it and put it on there. Well, they got it in individual songs and got it on a playlist. That's cool. Just reminded me of that. I'm gonna mark that. See, I haven't thought of that in a while until you just mentioned Sam Cooke. Oh, in my album collection? Oh God. Oh, you retracted it. I seen that though. I know what you was talking about. Um, I probably lost 120 albums. I'm guessing. Well, guys, I've been on here about an hour. You know, I've thought about a. Well, thanks, Larry Strict. I appreciate that. Yeah, I like old Charlie. He's all right guy. I've been thinking about. Everybody always asks me, "Well, do you ever replace your albums and stuff when you lost them?" And I didn't. And now that I sit here and think about it, I ain't got nothing better to do. I might buy me a turntable and start picking up a few albums here and there. Yeah, Jackie Wilson. Jackie Wilson, good. He was one of Elvis Presley's favorite singers, was Jackie Wilson. Yeah, I get off on coming in and doing the chats. I need to do them more often. Um, I'm usually busy, like I still got things to do. I'm retired from work now, but I do the documentaries, and then I still go. I like to go fishing, and I do things around the house here. You know, we got this place down in Florida now, but in the summertime, it's a little bit too hot to get outside and work. Yeah, it's a good chat, man. I don't mind hanging here for a while. If you guys want to talk a little more, it's up to you. We can hang out. Hell, I can leave the chat running. You guys can sit here and talk to each other if you want. Hey, Larry Strick, did you see the video I just put out on Linda Ronstadt? Who's my favorite guitar player of all time? Phew. It'd be hard for me to pick one because I got so many. I guess, you know, probably my favorite, and it's really hard. It's hard for me to pick. I mean, you know, if I just start thinking like a blues players, you know, I start thinking of Dwayne Allman and Stevie Ray and Johnny Winter, and it's hard to pick between them three guys. Chuck, that's cool, man. Yeah, no, come in and talk, man. Say what you want. It's always fun to talk music. That's what I do. In rock and roll, you know, probably one of my favorite guitar players was Gary Richrath. Um, Not that I think he was the best or anything. He was just one of my favorites. I thought the guy, old REO Speedwagon was some of the best rock and roll. You know, his guitar and Kevin Cronin's voice was just they was made for each other. Yeah, I do. I have to divide them. You know, it's hard for me. Um, like I said, even like some of the country players, like I got a video out on Jerry Reed. I think he's great. I just love to listen to his guitar playing, but I can't say he's my favorite. Um, he it's just hard, it's hard for me. I just love so much different kinds of music. I just you know I just dig all kinds of music. You know, I'll listen to just about anything. Jerry Reed was somebody that was really special. You know, I like James Burton too, the guy that used to play for Ricky Nelson and Elvis and oh God, he played. You know, James Burton even played on some Merle Haggard albums. I don't know where Cola, South Carolina is. I know where Charlotte's at. Although I've been there, but I just stopped. I was just flying through. Oh yeah, the great guitar. You know, Billy Gibbons is from Texas too. I mean, you know, some of the old blues players come out of Texas and Louisiana. There's a lot of good players come out of Texas too. Oh, I love ZZ Top. That's what I said. You know, a lot of people try to say this and that. You know, well, you know what? I like Stevie Ray but I like Billy Gibbons just as much as I do Stevie Ray. I sit and listen to either one of them for hours play. And Johnny Winter, he just kicks butt, man. I think Johnny was probably he could play great blues, but Johnny Winter could also rock and roll, man. He could just go balls to the walls, rock and roll. Yeah, Gary Richrath, he was one of my favorites. You know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be Gary Richrath. I really and truly did. Oh wow, you saw Elvis right before he died then. Yeah, Charlotte. He used to play in Charlotte a lot, Elvis did. Yeah, and Burton was still playing with him then, so you got to see James Burton, the Reverend Willie. Reverend Willie G. Yeah, Johnny couldn't see very well at all. Um, you know what's funny? You know who else was almost blind? Was Buddy Holly. Them glasses was real. I found out his vision was 2800. I was looking up some deals the other day on his glasses, and 2800 is without glasses. That's legally blind. See, I got bad eyesight myself. I've got all kinds of eye issues. I don't see real well. And before I had my eye surgery, my right eye was 2600, and I can tell you that when an eye gets that bad, you don't see real well at all. But yeah, Johnny, he at the end of his life, he couldn't hardly see anything. Oh, Nicole, that's a good song. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, they're a little rock flavored blues. I dig it though. Oh yeah, you don't have to see to play. Look at Jeff Healey. Jeff Healey's somebody I've been wanting to do a little documentary on. He was such a good player. Anybody ever seen there's a video out of Jeff Healey and Stevie Ray Vaughan playing together. And Jeff Healey stands up out of his chair and starts playing. And Stevie Ray kind of looks at him and goes, "Wow." Oh Lord. Fire Down Below, that's a good song. No kidding. Used to talk to Elvis. I'll be damned. Well, Elvis, he was a character, that's for sure. Alice Cooper's going to be in St. Louis. I'll be damned. That's my old hometown. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, Ted. I might do one on Jeff Healey. He's one of the guitar players. A lot of some people know about him, but he didn't get, I don't think, as much recognition as he deserved because of his talent. He was really talented. Makes no difference if he was blind or not. Oh, Kiel Auditorium, Garrick. I've seen a lot of great shows at Kiel and a lot of great wrestling matches. I used to go to wrestling back in the day. Back when they had Dick the Bruiser and Harley Race and all them. I used to go to the wrestling matches in Kiel. That'd be back in the mid-'70s. Yeah. All right, John Allen, you taking off? You have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate it. I enjoy talking to you guys. Talk a little music, talk a little this, that, and whatever. Firefall, that's one I haven't thought of in a long time. Yeah, Greg and Vern Gagne. Mm-hmm. Nick Botwinkle. Oh, I remember all that. I used to go down to Kiel. I seen a lot of shows, man. I got some great pictures. I don't have enough to make a video of out of them, but I've got pictures of the Who and Led Zeppelin at Kiel Auditorium back in, this is back in like 70, 71 era. I'm trying to think. I come across pictures and stuff. I always save them like in a folder. Then if I'm ever going to do a video, I've got pictures to do it. But, coming up with enough of them sometimes is hard. Yeah, Firefall was a cool group. Ric Flair, yeah. Ric Flair used to wrestle in St. Louis all the time. Rising Havoc. I thought it ought to be Raising Havoc. I don't know. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. I guess I'll stick around for a while. If people's going to come in, you want to talk a little more, we go for it. Got the Red album for a quarter at a yard sale. The first Grand Funk live album, that double album, my sister bought that for me, and she bought it at a yard sale. I don't know what she paid for it. Probably wasn't much, maybe a quarter or 50 cents back then. Bobo Brazil. I remember him. Bobo Brazil and what was the other the black guy that used to do the headbutt? Rufus R. Jones. I'm originally from St. Louis area. I didn't live in St. Louis, but I lived around there, all over the place. I even lived in Illinois for a while too, but it was all close to the St. Louis area. Then I moved out toward Lake of the Ozarks, and then I came back to St. Louis, and I finally got tired of it all, and I moved to Florida. So I live down here by Clearwater now. Phoenix was a good album. The first Grand Funk album I remember having, I think, was The Survival. Is that the one that where they did that? They did a version of "Gimme Shelter" on it. If I could look it up, I guess, but looking up everything, then we don't have nothing to have conversation about. But I think that's one of the first ones. But then I ended up having them all. I really got off on that one live album, that Caught in the Act. That was really a good one. Gimme Shelter, that's what I thought it was. You lived in Gainesville? That's where that's north of me a little bit. Gainesville's where that's where Don Felder's from, I believe. I know it is. Just south. He lived just south of Gainesville. He was born and raised there. If you read his book, his Eagles book, he really goes into his childhood, and he talks about they lived down here, and they had a house with a tin roof, and they had no air conditioning. I cannot even imagine what it would be like to live down in Florida in the summer and not have air conditioning and live in a tin roof. I call it a screened-in room. They call them lanais down here. And it's got an aluminum roof across it. And that damn thing in the summer is like an oven. I mean, you walk out there and stick your hand up and put it toward the top of it, and it'll burn your hand. It gets so hot. I don't know how they ever lived down here without air conditioning. Tom Petty? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Don Felder, though, he worked at a music store and gave was it Tom Petty he gave guitar lessons to? And then he was in a band with Stephen Stills for a little while down here. Desmond Child? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, there were some good musicians come out of Florida, too. Bob Seger lives down here now, I believe. He moved down to just south of Tampa and Sarasota. Last I heard last year, a buddy of mine, he still he does an acoustic singles act around Tampa and Sarasota area. And he put a picture, and I had it here. I don't know where it's at, but he on Facebook, he said he was there playing afternoon job, outside on the deck, playing and singing. He said all of a sudden he looks over at these tables. There's people all over the place, and he looked over there, and there sat Bob Seger and his wife at this place he was playing at. He said, "My God," he said, "I'm sitting there singing in front of Bob Seger." He ended up going over and talking to him. He said Bob was real nice to him. Let him, took a picture with him, did a selfie with him and stuff. The Gator Nationals, yep. Well, I'd been coming down to Florida all my life, and I came down the first time I came down with my mom and dad, and I would say it was in 72. And we went to Panama City and Destin along in there. And this was back when, Panama City, there was no such thing as condos and stuff. It was just, a bunch of sand dunes and sea oats and the beach and mom and pop restaurants and motels and stuff like that, you was lucky to see a Holiday Inn there. And I just fell in love with it when I was a kid. And then after I got a little bit older, I used to go down to Panama City during the summer after I got my own car and everything like that. And I come back and forth, and then my wife and I, we vacationed down to Florida forever. We'd come down 2 or 3 weeks a year, and finally we decided we were just going to go ahead and move here. And so I've been down here almost 6 years now. Except I moved farther south. I just didn't want to. I don't know. I was really tired of the cold. I just didn't want to get cold again. And so far, I haven't seen a snowflake in 6 years. Yeah, Chuck. I've heard that's everything I've ever heard about Bob Seger is he's a great guy. No, you don't get too cold down here. I think in the last 5 years there was one time here it got down to 39 degrees at night, and that was really cold. I mean, the people that have been down here forever. They was running around in, you know, parkas and had gloves on and stuff like that. I mean, even I put a coat on though, because it was cold to me. I've been down here long enough now that if it starts getting below 45, it starts feeling cold to me. Because we'll get in January and February, we'll get down. And the average temperature down here is about 50 degrees at night and 70 during the day in January and February. But it'll get down in the 40s, and 45 and below starts feeling kind of cold. Yeah, there's a lake right behind my house. It's about, 20, 15, 20 foot maybe at the most behind my house. We get some little alligators, but they come around and they take them out before they get too big. You see them a foot and a half, 2 foot long at the biggest, and they get them because they'll come up and eat your cats and dogs and stuff. I tell you what, guys, I'm going to have to pick it up and pack it up and head it on down the highway. I can't hardly keep my eyes open. I know it's 9:30 here. But I get up pretty early in the mornings and stuff. And these lights from the computers, like I said, I got really bad eyes and they bother me sometimes, these lights on me. Hey, you guys, let me thank you all really quick before I do shut everything down here. I want to thank you all for stopping in. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys watching my videos and things. I really and truly do. It's great to have a place just to get out and share music again. I don't, like I said, I don't play out hardly at all anymore. Every once in a while, I will. But I enjoy the chats. You know what? And everybody, I'm gonna try to keep doing. I'll try to get a day. I need to try to get something that I can do it like once a week, so we can get together and this, that, and the other thing, and kind of keep a steady. I've been doing it haphazard, whatever day I'm free or whatever. But hopefully I'll get something going so I can and do one and have it set up so we can get here at the same time. So, again, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And you know what? We'll do her again, I promise. I'll get more time here. Y'all take care, and thank you for supporting my channel. I do appreciate that.